Welcome to WWE Discussion. I'm your host and WWE enthusiast Doug. In today's episode, I'm going to be discussing Friday Night Smackdown, January 12, 2024 edition. An episode dealing with the fallout from New Year's Revolution and also setting the stage for what is to come on Friday Night Smackdown going into this year. And with that, we're going to get right into the action, starting with Paul Heyman failing to fix that being the issue of a fatal four-way match at the Royal Rumble. Reigns will be defending the title against LA Knight, Randy Orton, and AJ Styles, but instead found that he found out that Nick Aldis is not easily intimidated as a general manager, and instead Aldis would double down and book the Bloodline in a 3-on-2 handicap match with Knight, Styles, and Orton teaming up to take on Uso and Sikoa, with the option for those two to find a third partner should they be able to. Spoiler alert, they weren't able to. And this happened instead of the scheduled match between Cameron Grimes and Grayson Waller. And as Grimes got jumped in the aisleway, Heyman tried to paint Nick Aldis as the villain in this picture, not him or the Bloodline, and instead Aldis reminded Heyman that the Fatal 4-Way match at the Royal Rumble was a done deal, and further asserted his control over the brand by booking said 3-on-2 handicap match for the main event. This was, if nothing else, a noteworthy and unpredictable start to the show. Unfortunately, it came at the expense of Grimes, who was poised to make his first appearance in weeks, but perhaps he will find a way to make his presence felt at some point in the near future. You would hope. Bianca Belair versus Bayley. The action was strong, featuring some great ring psychology from Bayley and a resilient performance from the EST. The story remained in the disintegrating relationship between Bayley and Damage Control. Late in the match, Bayley tried to distract the referee and allow her Damage Control teammates to beat up on Bianca while she was outside the ring, but they opted to not do anything and leave Bayley just to try to fight this battle on her own, which she ended up losing. Backstage, Kyle tried to write it off as an attempt by the group to show Bayley what she is up against in the Royal Rumble, but it is clear that Bayley will soon be excommunicated from the group. It's just a matter of when, not if, and potentially ignite a good guy run from the former champion, something she has not done in quite some time. I wouldn't expect a return to the hugger face, but I'd be quite curious to see what a good guy run from Bayley would look like if she is going to be that kind of character. What would that look like? Bianca Belair picks up another win en route to the Royal Rumble and a championship rematch with Io Sky. You know that's going to happen at some point. Bobby Lashley promo. So Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits, who are still infuriated following the beatdown they suffered last week, and they challenged the new trio of Karrion Kross and the Authors of Pain to meet them in the ring. Instead, Paul Ellering emerged from the darkness and pointed to the video screen where a new warning from Kross aired. And the former NXT champion officially labeled this group as the Final Testament. Lashley and the Profits were left on guard following it as their newfound rivals continued to create an ominous environment in SmackDown. This was a solid follow-up to last week, and that allowed the new group to take center stage without having to book a similar segment this week. It was a warning more than anything, and is unlikely to be the last one. Or I should say, I am excited to see these two groups clash, and I'm also curious to see who gets booked to win that match. I would think the Final Testament gets booked because they have a name, while Lashley and the Street Profits don't officially have a name. There's talks about their name being the Pride, which, yeah, terrible name, don't like it. Just call them Her Business 2.0 or something. You gotta come up with something better than that. That's not a good one here. But Final Testament's a great addition to Friday Night Smackdown, and they got a pretty good first feud going for them. But the key thing is going to be maintaining momentum afterwards. But we don't have to worry about that just yet. Then in the main event, the 3-on-2 handicap match, so Solo and Jimmy tried to take out Randy Orton to make it a regular tag team match, and that worked up until the end where Orton made an appearance and closed out the match with a victory for him, Knight, and Styles. And after the match, the challengers to the title first punished their opponents, concluding by putting Solo Sikoa through the announce table. It was a definitive statement to Roman Reigns ahead of the Royal Rumble that the tribal chief should be very worried about losing his title. In the grand scheme of things, that being the overarching Bloodline story, it put Uso and Sikoa in position to be scapegoats. They were served up to the top contenders without any backup from Reigns and not to endure their vengeance. It will be interesting to see see how long it is before they stand up to Reigns, and the cracks continue to grow, or the cracks start to grow once again within what was the most dominant faction in WWE. Jimmy Uso at one point had left, as I'm sure most people remember, but then he came back. So is Jimmy gonna decide to leave again, and this time permanently? What about Solo Sikoa? He's a wild card here. He's not quite the easiest read either, but you gotta imagine too, at some point he's gonna start thinking for himself, and when that happens, look out. In conclusion, this was the first show of the year where there was a clear indicator of what Triple H has in store for the Blue brand in 2024. Sure, there was the normal array of main event guys at the top of the card, but it was what happened around it that fans should be excited about. From the tease of the return of Pete Dunne to the official introduction of the Last Testament, to the video package highlighting Carmelo Hayes, it is clear that Triple H is introducing the stars he once oversaw in NXT as he originally envisioned them arriving on the main roster. Add to that the further dissolving relationship between Bayley and Damage Control, as well as the intensifying battle between the LWO and the trio of Escobar, Garza, and Carrillo, and you have a lot to like about the foundation that Triple H is putting in place. With the potential for more dissension within the bloodline, there are more than a couple stories to keep your eyes on moving forward. The in-ring work was solid, if not spectacular this week, but the overarching show and the stories within made up for it. And with that, that will conclude this episode of WWE Discussion. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below.